strange and lost edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Everyone knows its name and the covers are famous, but exactly what is inside these covers is, well, it kind of got overwhelmed by everything else. So I won't bore you with the history. There's a diagram of the publications of Dungeons and Dragons in the 70s and 80s and 90s, which is completely strange. And we are at the top, almost at the top right, in the orange pink box in the top right. So as you can see, it is somewhat buried in the history. And I have chosen to use a certain subset of the content. So we are not playing every option, we are playing a certain set of options. Although effectively in those rules for a friend. Okay, now we have a situation. Imagine a great big fantasy city that is dominated by two mega churches. In fact, these churches dominate the whole society. And one of them is dedicated to law and order, regulation, predictability. The other one is dedicated to constant disruption and the dissolution of order, of regulation and all those things. So the two of them are the two churches are completely uninterested in the details, but the various pieces of the churches have different opinions. Okay, so in this city, there are also areas that neither one can properly control, and little temples tend to get created in those less ordered, less dominated areas. One of them is a problem. It's called the Temple, the Center for Universal Munificence, and is dedicated apparently to some sort of very popular, it is becoming very popular, some sort of approach toward money and wealth and stuff like that. And the two churches have independently decided that this thing is getting too powerful. In fact, it has a strange ability to absorb the other temples near it. So its holdings and its populace are getting bigger and bigger. It has a curious, disturbing tendency to add whatever is next to it. So, from the Church of Law, we have a priest, also a holy slayer, an assassin priest, who is infiltrated the center to be joined by an agent of the church, whose job is to determine its power, whatever its source of power is, whatever strange thing it does, get that. We want that. That is what the Church of Law wants, and those are the two characters. And then we also have, from the Church of Chaos, another character, another kind of slayer, not a priest, who has infiltrated the center as well, and is about to be joined by a priest warrior of the Church of Chaos to assault the church and destroy whatever it can to disrupt its function. So these are our four characters, effectively two teams. And you are able to choose whichever characters you want. And then from there, we just see what happens. Your teams are not necessarily in competition. The missions are not exactly the same, for example. And so that is not really the point of the exercises. We're not here just to compete between the two teams. The characters may feel that way, who knows? And also, you will discover some very interesting things about the characters when you look at them. We will review one or two rules, and then we will start. and see what happens.
How much prerequisite information about the system do you need to know? Because I'm not very familiar
You
with
will pick up everything
Okay.
as we go.
All right.
I will answer any question and try to clarify something, but it is much easier to do as we proceed.
During play.
Or at least the first time you look at the sheet. I mean, we will operate off of that. The other thing, I guess, is that please feel free to choose characters. They are not, again, these two characters are known to each other, and these two characters are known to each other, and you are free to examine them and think about whom you want to play.
In case our fourth
They will take the fourth character.
Yeah, so there isn't one character that you would say is more okay to be omitted than.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
In fact, without that character, life will be tougher for the partner.
All right. So it's a fighter cleric, fighter assassin, a fighter thief, and a cleric assassin.
Please again, come again.
It's okay.
You feel like picking out?
Just take a moment to look them over.
Yeah.
The clerics have spells, the assassins have their various killing abilities, the fighters are tougher than the others. So the combinations, the multi-class rules in here are quite interesting, and half-orcs are extremely favored in the system, which is a little strange.
Oh.
I would like to explain something. The modern notion of the half-orc is completely inappropriate. These half-orcs look exactly like humans, and they pass for human. And they are very unappealing people. They're unattractive and badly behaved, but they are not distinguishable from human. And orcs in general don't resemble what orcs have come to be after Warhammer.
Oh, right.
There's no connection. They are short, for example.
Yeah,
Orcs and half-orcs are short.
Like in a Lord of the Rings.
And these are much more inspired from whatever it was Tolkien was thinking in the Lord of the Rings, which is difficult to get.
Oh yeah, we're not getting into that because
Exactly.
That's
Who knows what he
travel
was
news.
thinking of.
Yeah.
We would say in English skeevy or
Yeah.
unsavory.
Yes.
Yeah.
So could I please pick an assassin, because I felt like
There's a fighter assassin and a cleric assassin.
I think I'll go for the cleric assassin.
Okay, pass. I believe it would then be.
If that's okay with you.
I believe that brings you to Mikla.
Yeah.
And the little box with some things about the character only clarifies what is meant by alignment in this game.
Yeah.
And also, which is best understood as an opinion taken to a religious extreme. And there are such things as alignment languages, and nobody is really sure in these rules what that means. But one of the characteristics of assassins uniquely is that they can speak other alignment languages. So the assassin characters have been trained to speak neutral, which is the language for this temple.
I'm not certain what a munificence.
Wealth, especially extravagant wealth, enjoyable, abundant wealth.
Yeah, sounded like it would be something like that.
Mm-hmm. Examining our situation, the building is a dome, a circular or semicircular domed structure on some pretty nice yards and grounds. It has two side wings, so the central dome and some side buildings. Perhaps a little strangely, it has one single doorway in its front and no other evident openings or of any kind. And people go in regularly for services and seem to come out okay, or at least most of them. And the interior is known to a certain extent to Parguka and also to Mikla, because you have infiltrated this place. So let's see, Alfred, you have Atia, is that correct? You are the character who is awaiting for your signal. You are capable of, you are not a subtle character, right? You are there in your holy warrior readiness, and you're waiting for Mikla's signal.
That's me.
Yeah, to let you in. And then Parguka has managed to get one level up in the hierarchy, and so is also familiar with some aspects of the interior. So,
Just changing the name.
yeah. So the genders of your characters are completely unknown to me, and they are entirely your business, and other aspects of them as well. Now I can begin to say that this is a game that is not a ride. You're not getting on a ride that I created, like at an amusement park, and it will take you through all the beats of the story and all those things. I have a situation and I'm going to play characters in it. And that's what I know.
All right.
So I have not put in little Easter eggs for your success for you to find, and I don't even know what success is. At some point or another, one of you may decide, maybe, maybe I better tell the church this is a really tough nut and I need to go. Or at some other time, you make some other decision. Every player makes their own decisions about any of these things, including whether members of the other team need to be eliminated, or whether maybe it might be a good idea to suck it up and tolerate other churches for a moment. But that is up to you. Again, the two teams, or in this case now, Parguka and the other two, do not know about each other yet. The game, let's see, is there anything on your sheet that just jumps out at you as something you would like to know? Oh, and that reminds me. I passed out the cleric spells to the clerics. So yeah, you have that. Yeah. So you have your spell list. Yeah. One thing about those spells is that you may cast them once. And once they are shot, it's gone.
Oh, each spell I can.
Each spell,
Okay,
yeah.
so we have basically components enough for using them once, or however that system works.
Yeah, the system basically says once and you're done.
Okay.
And then you and then you justify that however you
All right. All right.
There are components listed, but I don't really take them seriously. I think that it's much easier for our purposes that your only necessary component is your holy symbol. Which is usually the case for cleric spells anyway.
But it seems like my holy symbol has effects of its own that
Yes,
are
it does.
not like spells in that way.
Correct.
So they're not just once per game.
Correct. And so if you were, actually that might be interesting to review. Which one, you have that, the mirror thing?
Yeah, I have the mirror mental prowess.
Okay. Yes, well, that operates, you may think of it as a bit of a classical crystal ball, but one of the most important things about it is that it does not operate generally. You need to have a target in mind,
Okay.
and the more you know about it, the better.
All right.
So I can give you a little bit of what Parguka has learned that can sort of start you on using the thing, but again, the more you discover in some other way, the more effective it will be.
Yeah.
And it is rather powerful. You can, once you have once you have used it as a crystal ball, you can ask questions about what you are seeing. You can read the thoughts of creatures in it. In fact, you can use it directly. If you hold it up and look at it and it's pointed at somebody, you can use it to read their thoughts. So those are some useful things. And Atya has a very unusual holy symbol. It is based on the magic item Wand of Wonder. And if you point it at someone and say, go, on, I just roll on a table. It's a very chaotic object. It will do something.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. The table is rather extensive.
Yeah, you're an agent of case.
Yeah. So the more fun, the better.
I'm getting really excited.
Yeah. And in your case, your weapons do extensive damage. They, when you hit with the axe or the cord or the knife, they will do ongoing damage.
Oh, okay.
And they cannot be healed except by extraordinary magic. Extraordinary magic. Now let's place you a little bit. We have all right. This is the central area of this building that I have sketched here. And the arrow coming in at the bottom is the front entrance, and it brings you down to just below ground level. And then you are standing on this platform, and then stairs go down into the central area. Not the big one, but just in front of the arrow. And in that area is a place where you gather before a big service, before a big ritual. So public people come in there, and people are shaking their hands and patting their shoulders and things like that, and getting them ready to come in for the ritual. And that is what Mikla is currently doing.
Yes, and now you read your supplicants.
Yeah, that's right. You are greeting the supplicants, and you are saying, oh yes, hello so-and-so, and stuff like that. And then in this area, I should actually sketch just a little bit more. Now, known to Mikla is that you now have an idea about the church's power. You have an idea of what sort of principles are involved, and that there are indeed things or items that represent these principles. They are kept on the upper level. And you have gained low but effective status at being able to move around a little bit freely. Now, if we look here, you will see that as you pass people into the more central area, that this big hexagonal area is divided into two parts. The lower part, which is closer to you, there is a big pool in the middle, and then the elevated part, so people can stand on that and look down upon it. And it is people up there that include Parguka, who has a slightly fancier robe than Mikla, and is standing up there with several other people in the same, there were two other people in the same status. So the three of you will be raising your hands up and down and greeting,